I'm here today with my husband Joshua to talk about Varma. So Varma is one of the ancient Siddha techniques for healing and by far one of my absolute most favorite. It's done in person by a Varma specialist, and there's certain points that are applied to the body that help to actually open up key energy channels that help with healing the body as well as the mind. So first of all, Joshua, thank you for joining me today. So Joshua actually trained with a Siddha master in India to learn Varma. He's actually been trained by a few different Varma masters. So I wanted to first of all ask you to explain to everybody, what is Varma from your perspective?
What is Varma? It's not so easy to put into words what Varma is, but I'm going to try. So Varma is applying pressure to certain points on the body in order to bring harmony, balance, health, nourishment to the body, to the mind, to the soul, to the spirit. But the beautiful thing about Varma is that it has an underlying spiritually uplifting intention from the Siddhas who created it. So it's also a deeply spiritual opening as well.
And so given the spiritual nature of Varma, what do you actually experience when you are doing Varma on your patients?
What I experience is it takes me to a very deep place of peace as I'm working. It's a very, very deep, beautiful place, actually. I could do Varma all day long. It's actually so enjoyable and so peaceful.
And what do your patients experience when you're doing Varma? I can tell you, since I'm one of your regular clients.
She's my VIP.
I can tell you what I experience when I do Varma with you is not just a profound sense of peace, but just I can feel so much reorganization. And I always feel that I never come out of a Varma session as the same person that I've walked in. I feel altered on a biochemical level, on a mental level, and as you mentioned, on a spiritual level. Oftentimes I'll have very big aha moments afterwards for issues that I might have been struggling with for decades. It's suddenly like the solution just comes. So that's what I experience every time that I have the honor of doing Varma with you, which is one of the highlights of my week. I get to do it on a weekly basis. But what do your other patients notice when they're doing Varma with you? What do they tell you about their experiences?
It's so interesting because everybody has their own experience, but one thing that's quite common is that most of them feel as though they're kind of floating out of the office. But they just feel more aligned, more as though their energies are more aligned properly, the energy's flowing more. And the big thing I notice isn't just directly after the session, because a lot of times they're kind of just out of it, but in like a very happy, peaceful, blissful way. In fact, some of them actually experience bliss, but it's the changes that I see occur between the sessions. And that's the beautiful thing about Varma, is that it's so simple. It's so simple. It's not like this long, drawn out, like 1,000 points on the body. It can be so simple in just a few points. And sometimes it's very subtle. But the greatest, most profound thing is, like I said, the changes between the sessions, it's just 1 week sometimes. There's such profound changes, especially when we do the series of points to help with the neurological system, which actually really helps us break down negative thought patterns and kind of open us up to something more positive.
That's what I have found. And that's what's really surprised me also about Varma is how powerful it is and how little time it takes to break down some deeply seated, negative thought patterns. It's why I go for my Varma treatment every single week, I forced him to put me on his schedule as a reoccurring appointment, because it's just had such an absolutely profound effect. And this is really the beauty of Siddha medicine, is it's fast, because it combines, attention to so many different aspects of yourself at one time. It's a physical change, it's a mental change, but there's also a spiritual activation, I guess you can say, with kind of just that energy, whatever you want to call it, universal energy kind of comes pouring into you through Siddha medicine. And so it just makes everything happen a lot faster. So it's not every day that you get to interview a Varma practitioner. So thank you, Joshua, for coming in. And I hope to have you back. You'll always be my favorite guest to interview on these subjects. It's a good thing I married you. And thank you for joining us today on this topic of Varma. And maybe we can go a little bit deeper into it. This is, just kind of the surface level, but we'll go a little bit deeper. So again, I'm Dr. Kulreet Chaudhary. This is my wonderful husband, Joshua, and we both wish you health and happiness.